Well, it's been a minute, but I am back and I'm bringing you a fresh Astro-Travel vlog. And we'll be exploring London and some of the energetic lines through astrocartography. So this one will be a long one, and it will have some dubbing over, like my voiceover, and there will be some notes, and there is a lot of raw footage, and there's, some janky editing here and there. It's a new skill that I'm working on, so bear with me, but there will be chapters and timestamps, one or the other or both. So grab a cup of tea, a beverage, settle in, enjoy. Certainly lots of information here and lots to see. So thanks for being here, and don't forget to like and subscribe, leave me a comment, say hello. Just wondering if you can feel it too, that something in the air has shifted, something's changed. So much more activity, so much more stimulus. Everything's just so much more on the surface, raw, and a lot of fresh energy coming through, a lot of uncertainty. I feel optimism, like Jupiterian optimism, like kind of coming out of a dark wooded forest and opening, like just coming out of the edge of it, and then setting my gaze on this big, expansive field with open skies and like the air opening up to like fresh scents and um, rays of sunshine dancing on my face. It feels really good. And I wonder if you feel it too. I wonder what it is that you might be feeling. But no matter what it is a sign and a signature of shifts and change. And we are here, and we've been talking about it for a long time as astrologers and in the astrology community and in the divination community. We can feel it. And it's something that's been on the edge of that forest, and we've finally taken our first steps. And I'm filming here on June the 28th, just a week before Uranus goes into Gemini for the first time. And so we've only just started and we've only just gotten a taste. So welcome back. Welcome to my channel if you're new here. My name is Miss B Ecstatic, where I explore all things divination and I share my astro musings and astro travels with you. And today I'm going to be sharing with you an experience that I had. I was so blessed to receive in London, and with one of my favorite astrologers, Rick Levine, that I've been watching since I was really young, and one of the first figures that I associated with, oh, this is what an astrologer is. And also Steve Judd, and many, many more people, some people that I hadn't been exposed to before, but all of them collectively with just years and like decades of experience and life that of watching living astrology, and some of their insights into new ways that they are now opening themselves up to viewing outer planets and some of our more traditional inner planets as well. So it was a really cool experience, and I can't wait to tell you more about it. So one of the first things I want to share is And I have my notes here. The one of the most fulfilling and rewarding aspects of this trip was that it just came to me on a whim, super spontaneous. I just got a really direct, juicy hit. And when I get one of those, I just know that it's going to be like the whole experience is going to be organic, full of um, things that are going to fill my cup, and it's going to be a wonderful ride. So I had this hit in early to mid-April. It was actually watching a video that Steve Judd and Rick Levine had done for Astrology Hub, talking about the Pluto Uranus trine, along with these other outer planetary alignments. And it was the trine that they were speaking of, where the another level of astrology is basic of life, and viewing astrology through the lens of viewing life through the lens of astrology goes to another level. So these outer planets are changing our culture, our society, consciousness, and kind of ushering in a new age. And in one of the ways that it was described was like not a new chapter, not a new page, not a new series, but like an entirely new book and an entirely open, unknown, unwritten um, existence that we're all entering into. So the conversations, the workshops, the speakers in the Shifts Happen symposium in London was presented after this discussion in the content of the video. And I just the way that Rick had conveyed his message, his understanding of this pivotal time, it was just something that I wanted to be a part of. I want to be a conscious creator in this time where there are no books written about where we're going. So, and when I say that, I mean it astrologically, not just not just historically, but astrologically. We're entering into a place where we just have not seen these elements occur before. So it's difficult for even our leaders in astrology, our elders and leaders in astrology, to even give guidance or to have reference, because it is that new, it is that unknown. That's the exciting bit. So as a aspiring astrologer, this is something that I really want to commit myself to being present to, and it lit my ass afire. So I bought my ticket. I bought my ticket to the Shifts Happen symposium, and I bought my airplane ticket, and I couldn't even tell you what a steal I got on that ticket. This is what I mean. When I know for certain I'm meant to be somewhere, it doesn't have to make any sense, don't have to have any plans, don't have to think too hard about it, just take action. And things just unfold perfectly the way that they need to. Okay. So the Shifts Happen was in London, and it was just north of London in a beautiful town called St. Albans. And the I think it was like 5 days, 4 or 5 days. I was there for an extra day on each side, just because I was traveling from Phoenix, Arizona, and I haven't been on an international trip for a really long time. I haven't been in London since I think it was like 2006. Yeah, I don't remember. Maybe it was 2007. Anyway, I just really wanted to spend like make the best use of my time in going there and taking the trip. And the over the few days, I had such an electrifying um, experience, and just so much energy was surging through my body in connecting with other people and socializing and um, speaking with others of like mind from all over the world. I mean, there were people from, um, Germany, Mexico, um, France. I mean, all over. London is an international hub. So there was actually quite a few people from California and the States in general, and I made a lot of friends. So it was an incredible time. So one of the things that I wanted to, not only did I make friends, but the content of this event was really expansive and enriching in so many ways. I wouldn't even be able to articulate all the ways that it was so fulfilling and rewarding to be a part of. The content spanned from like deep philosophical questions like, um, what is self? What is soul? What is spirit? Um, Fate versus, questions about change. Like, how much do we change, or how much do we fully just come into ourselves? Um, like, who are we, and what is the conglomerate of self? We talked about some of the philosophical traditions throughout history that have contributed to the way that we practice astrology, the way that we use astrology, and like Stoicism, Platonism, Neoplatonism, and Hermeticism, all the way up to, some of the more modern contributors of Carl Jung, in the psychology and archetypes of these mythologies into a modern practical application of astrology. So, so from that to what else did we do? Oh, to analysis of cinema and astrology of humor, to royal stars and the Medusa. Even astrocartography was part of the lectures and workshops that were offered in London. So I was really excited about that. And one of the most super satisfying aspects of this symposium was again, it was what kind of lured me in to begin with, was this reevaluation and questioning of how we look at the relationship of Saturn and Jupiter and these outer planets on consciousness. And, having consumed a lot of astrology since I was young, and it becoming more and more mainstream on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, there's a lot of watered down and, kind of pop astrology that is great. It has its uses. It's really wonderful to expose people to astrology. Um, and there's, unless you really are looking, it's rare to get a very deep dive and critical analysis of how we're using these planets over time and how we should be looking at them now and going forward. So, there was a really fresh look of these outer planets and how we view Saturn and Jupiter. So Rick Levine played a big part in that. And then Penny Thornton, who is a British astrologer, she is new to me, so I'm not familiar with her career, but she had a very impressive career span, and she dove into Neptune and offered some really incredible insights also. So, oh, and I made a wonderful friend walking through the astrological sites of London. Okay, that's that's what you're going to see throughout the video are clips of walking with Alex Trenoweth, and she is an award-winning astrologer and author. She introduces astrology to school-age children and advocates for astrology in school as a part of the school curriculum. She's written several books. She did the cinema aspect um, of the symposium, and then also made an argument for why it should be taught in schools. She also did the Royal Stars and Medusa. So she had so much to offer. She's just a wealth of information. So she led a group of, I think we were like 26 people in the heart of London. And that in itself was really incredible. And it was an event. It was going through the tube, the underground, the trains, the buses. I did a lot of walking, saw a lot of things from the street of London, and it was so rewarding and exhausting. We went to the astrology bookstore in London. There was also Piotr Kardas. He was a Polish Qigong master, and he led many of us through Qigong sessions every morning. So the diet that was provided through the residential symposium was all vegetarian and so tasty and delicious. The event space was lovely. Just outside of London, I think I mentioned St. Albans. Lots of farms and greenery and expansive fields and just gorgeous environment to walk around and take in. It was a lot more quiet than being in downtown London, but both equally rewarding. So I'm going to share my charts now because I've been rambling plenty, or at least trying to share my parts of my experience here. So in approaching this, am I sharing my screen? Oh, there we go. In approaching this event, of course, I'm looking at mm, um, I'm looking at all the ways that I can, like all the opportunities that are going to be offered or available, the energies and imprints that those signatures that I can optimize on the experience. So I'm here on AstroSeek. I'm purposefully sharing with you one of the free online softwares that you can use. So the first thing you do is, go to astroseek.com, Astro Tools. Down here is astrocartography, astro maps. And then it asks for your birth details. There I am. And then over here, it brings up your map. Your map meaning my map with my planetary placements based on the time and location of my birth. And so in order to, and I've already done this when I first started, preparing myself for this trip, I was like, okay, what do I have? What can I expect? What kind of goodies am I in store for? And, or preparing for unpredictable things or dangers or hazards to be aware of. So the ones that came out the strongest for the location that I was going to, which is London, happened to be along the 51st degree Perrin. So that is this one right here. And you can see this is the older one of the glyphs. It's an older version, but one of the glyphs of Uranus. So there is a Venus-Uranus and a Uranus-Venus Perrin line through this this line. So when we take it all the way, oh, sorry. Why did I do the 50? Anyway, this one here, I think it's still the same. Yeah, so in this one, there's Moon Venus. Is that right though? Yeah. Okay. Moon Venus. In one of my other charts, it's going to look different. So, you do want to I wouldn't rely on the free ones entirely, essentially. Because there's obviously some variation, and you'll see that when I move to another chart. So in the other chart, the Venus-Uranus and Uranus-Venus Perrin lines show up more specifically over London, within the London range. This one here shows the moon, which is even better it does share expression, but adds the moon aspect, which was really, comfort, ease with public. Like in mundane astrology, the moon is the public. But there was ease. There was support with all of my efforts in traveling. And then you have Venus, so Venusian things. Okay. But here's Uranus at the MC. So Uranus is a factor in traveling to the UK, more specifically this London, which is in the lower part of the country. Sorry, yeah, excuse me. All right, so we can look at other aspects by, selecting, what planet we want to look at. We could do just Uranus, for example. Same thing will come up, more or less. Yeah, Sun Uranus, Moon Uranus. So the Moon Uranus shows up here. Jupiter Uranus. So that's all within this degree of the parents that lands in the same area. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So with Venus, we're looking at wanting like the desire to, or the ability and opportunity to enjoy harmony, fun, beautiful things, like things in relationship. Venus is all about relationships. It can be friends, it can be lovers, um, but just things of beauty and texture and taste and of the senses. Uranus is often associated with like networks, internet. It's associated with the internet. It's associated with information. It's associated with the skies. It's associated with um, disruption. Um, it's a very quick energy. I always think about it as like the lightning in a thunderstorm, but like the energy that culminates to create those conditions is also Uranian, things like the atmosphere changing. So like a Venusian atmosphere, a charged Venusian atmosphere, which is really what I felt. I felt just a surge of energy and electricity and like vibrance and ecstatic emotions. And it kept culminating and culminating and feeding on itself through my experience and interactions with people. Okay, so I'm going to share with you another one. This one is, well, this is my, let's see. Oh, wait, no, that's not sharing. So let's see. Just stop share for a moment. Welcome back to my face. I am still working out how to, use this. So bear with me, y'all. Okay. This chart is, this is from Astro Gold. This is a paid program. And so there is a lot more you can do with it. And it does include like location astrology. There's probably more things this can do than I know how to do. Okay, that being said, when I pull up the same chart or the same map and look through the parens, and I can do that a little bit more easily here. So for example, I can go to moon. Let's see. Yeah, and there's really not a whole lot of moon happening here. Here we are in London. So what's great about this is that this particular application is I can measure the miles or kilometers from a line to the location. And the distance does indicate the intensity that you can expect. Lines that are further, like if you are in a place where the line is further away from you, the energy of that planetary line will be weaker. It won't be something that you'll feel as obvious. It might be a more subtle experience. Having sitting right on a line will definitely be intense. And there's variations, obviously, and every astrocartographer I've I've talked to pretty much has the same range. There's a few that give more distance, give more like have much more mileage of being able to feel and experience the lines than others, but it's all pretty averaged out, if you ask me. Okay, so over here, I don't know, it's not really going to let me zoom in on this like the other one. I'm as zoomed in as I can get. Okay, so if you follow, let's do my favorite color, orange, and we're just going to use an arrow. Okay, so right here is really what we're focusing on. Oh no, it didn't do it. Annotate. Oh, it won't let me annotate. Okay. Sorry, guys. This is really what we're looking at right here. So we have, it's funny because like the annotation's in the way now. Let me see if I can, no. All right. Yeah, I got it. Okay. So what we're looking at here is the Saturn. Oh my gosh, come on now. Saturn and Pallas, and then here is our Venus and Uranus. Those are the primary ones that are in influence here because really we're looking at our location, London, and not very far north of that is where we were staying. I mean me. And then here we look up, this is like the natal placements of the chart. And we can see that a familiar symbol comes up, and that is our most direct hit is Pallas Athene. So the most potent of these signatures that can be accessed through this travel on this astrological map is Pallas Athene. Pallas with Saturn. Saturn adding structure. Pallas is wisdom. We'll get into her real quick in just a moment. And then the Venus Uranus, which we kind of just touched on a little bit. So those are the things that we can in range access through this travel. All right, so I didn't do a lot of videotaping of myself during this time. I actually did get sick for a few days, so I was out. So there was some limitations that I experienced. Saturn often can signify limitations. And I had been out on the streets with some of the peak, tourist times. Whew, and it was busy. There was also a very Uranian kind of freedom-seeking energy with that we encountered when we were on the streets, and there were people protesting and advocating for Palestine that disrupted traffic, disrupted flow, but was like loud and confrontational, and it was peaceful. It was peaceful. It wasn't, aggressive. It was just, yeah, it was just Uranian making themselves heard, known, sending the message. Um, there was also, I mean, there was a little bit of that, but there was mostly just like beauty, gardens, leisure, Okay, anyway, I'm rambling. But one of the things I want to highlight here is that just expand a little bit more on this Venus Uranus here. And I'm going to be using, and I'll just come back to screen for a moment. Okay, so I'm going to be using the archetypal universe. And here it shows the combinations of Venus and Uranus together, in principle, relationship breakthroughs, a rebirth of love and friendship, feelings of romantic electricity and excitement, colorful and eccentric sense of style, social spark, and fun. Yes, I can confirm this. Romantic and social restlessness, craving for sexual freedom, which prevent a deeper intimacy, disruptive affairs, and triangle situations, sudden attraction without substance or aesthetic disharmony. Well, that's the other side. I didn't so much experience that, but it's possible if you're traveling on your, on a combination line of Venus and Uranus, that that's something that you might experience. I'm just going to kind of briefly go through. Mm, um, let's see. Friendly chance encounters, spontaneous fun, magic moments, happy surprises, beautiful energies. Um, So those are on the positive character themes, and some of the shadow qualities that one can experience in traveling the same combination is maybe a tendency towards manic social restlessness, um, dissatisfaction and relationship tensions, emotional moodiness, let's say attraction outside of relationships. So love triangles, affairs that are disruptive, sudden attractions that cool off suddenly. Um, what else? Extreme social eccentricity, aesthetic disharmony, a fondness for overly bright or garnish color schemes, an awkwardly revealing dress code, exhibitionism is what they're getting at. Um, the archetypes and spirituality. I'll just read this briefly. So, Middle Eastern belly dancing goddess who embodied both sexual liberation and spiritual transcendence, such as Ishtar, the birth of Venus, the redemption of Cinderella, the temptations of Guinevere, vividly colored rebirth motifs, divine kindness, sweet ecstasy, and excitement. Yeah, like I said, it was juicy. Themes in deep self-exploration. These archetypes add enjoyable, loving, and sparkling elements of two healing sessions, including brilliantly colored rebirth motifs and peacock spectra patterns. They are very helpful for the healing and transcendence of beauty and lovability issues. Um, Venus-Uranus transits also support feelings of ecstatic reentry into the integration phase of the day. I definitely had, different layers of this just existing there, just in being. Um, yeah, I love travel. So, and I hadn't been able to really travel in like 2 years, so it was really very nourishing and healing for me. Um, there was like a sense of transcendence, um, of of self into like a collective, broader oneness. Um, so Venus Uranus combined with something like Saturn, we're going to add that element into it now. So inspiring long-term friendships, relationships which embody both security and fun. A preference for substance over flash in one's social world, the facing of inner pain leading to healing in one's relationship life, ongoing relationship tensions, conflict between one's needs for intimacy and freedom versus complex and challenging triangle situations, alterations between feeling strikingly attractive and glaringly flawed. So the dynamic of Saturn is so complex. But you can see in its core and in its nature is expression of freedom, um, breakout, transcendence, and then um, containment, flaws, security, safety, um, which is all, relevant. It's all relative to where you are in your life and what you want and what you're seeking. So sometimes we choose the experience that we want to have And we look for locations that will support that. In this case, the opportunity arose, and the opportunity brought to me certain things that I didn't realize I needed. And that was the Venus, Uranus, and Saturn with Pallas Athene. So let's get to Pallas Athene. So it is an asteroid, a star in the sky. And we're just going to use this desktop, entire screen. Okay, you can see all of it. Great. We're going to bring some of this down. All right. Move me a little bit. Add another page. Um, okay, so represents wisdom, strategy, thinking, creative problem solving, particularly in areas related to healing and justice. Greek goddess Athena, who was known for her intelligence, strategic warfare, and craft skills, Pallas in a birth chart can reveal how an individual approaches challenges, their artistic talents, and their capacity for healing and justice. And I love how she's depicted as a warrior, and then also with the owl representing wisdom. Let's see what the image is. Yeah, this one here, gorgeous. This is the one I think they used. So serpent transformation, awakening of the, vital creative energy within us, the spirit having direction, calculation, the helmet or mask, defense, and then the owl here. So this is the symbol, and so that is the most potent one that showed up in my chart for London. So, in that experience, like I said, there was a lot of strategizing and navigation. There was a lot of exploration into, again, one of the main things that I was excited about that I got to spend a lot of time doing was looking at the astrological sites of London. And not all of them were as obvious as, like, Mercury on the top of the financial building as a mercantile, right? Mercury mercantile. But there was some that were really obvious, and some architecture that was like an ode to astrology, and some that was symbolic of Greek mythology tied to astrological figures. So anyway, that was that. What else did I want to share? Shifts happen. Oh, yeah. So as soon as like the first evening, just leading up to the first day. So my first evening there, I was just flooded with all of this information. So Athena and, Uranus, Saturn, Athena. So I had all of these thoughts and questions, things that I wanted to connect with around, these planetary cycles, primal fear of death, total annihilation, social, cultural, religious programming, seeds of doubt of the cosmic role and value of humanity and its existence and innate connection to Earth specifically, versus parasitic eaters, that some of the other paradigms and narratives also propagate. So there's just, I had just a list of things and themes that were flooding through, kind of channeling through in contemplation. And there were several of these topics that actually did get touched on throughout the experience. So that is the primary thing that I wanted to share was my experience with Saturn. So Saturn and Athena, we're talking about, an ancient goddess with wisdom, strategy, um, and Saturn structures. The walk through London, you can see the you can see the expression of the ancients. You can see the structures of meaning, symbology that have outlived time, that have transcended time. They have lasted the Saturnian, Capricornian, they have stay. These symbols. And so also there were other artifacts, for example, the Stone of London we saw, and that is also really, really old, ancient, an ancient artifact of the inception of what we now know as Britain, London. And let's see what else. So these Saturnian structures, social structures, institutions were all visible, palpable, expressed, accessible, walkable. And they ignited questions, ponderance, contemplation of existence or one's place in existence. And just getting around the city of London, you do need strategy. And thank goodness that Alex Trenoweth had done several run-throughs before bringing us, but even still, with that many people, it was a challenge. But she did a wonderful job, and we managed. It was an all-day tiresome affair, but like it again, the energy to keep going, to persevere, that's also Saturn. Okay, so I'm going to pause here. I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to pause here for a moment. Okay, excellent. So in the completed video that you are soon to watch, once I've finished editing, oh my gosh. Oh, am I sharing or not? I can't tell if I'm sharing. Oh my word. Oh my gosh. Oh, no. Yeah, it looks like I am sharing. Just wanted to share with you the image here. This is Rick Levine and Steve Judd. That is during our meet and greet the first day. I'm just, you know, looking to see you are screen sharing. Okay, good. Screen share. Okay, anyway, let's stop the screen share because this is confusing me now. All right, anyway, that is my share for this vlog, for this Astro-Travel vlog. I do hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned a little something. I hope, yeah, I hope it was of service in some way. And I'm so glad that you've watched to this point. And if you have, please like and subscribe. Leave me a comment. Um, take a look at your chart, take a look at your map. What kind of opportunities are available to you if you went to London, for example? And then, just so you know, like there's ways to plan for certain experiences. Of course, nothing's guaranteed. And then there's ways to find out what's available to you when you have certain opportunities come to you. And astrocartography is a great tool. All right, anyway, thank you for your presence and thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Ciao.
Responsible.
Bye. Peace out. Think cosmically, act locally. Catch you later, world. Bye.
Yes, yeah, it's time to.
Okay, so that's why I won Best Picture. Let's go back a little bit further. So for Mata Hari, most of the films back in 1935 were biblical epics. How are we going to get birth data from Moses? We're not going to be able to do that. So we went through a long time when there was a lot of, not so many biopics, but that kind of changed in the 1970s when we had Lady Sings the Blues, we had Coal Miner's Daughter, and we had Mommy Dearest. Controversial. Now, Mommy Dearest kind of ruined Joan Crawford's career. I think it turned my career in a direction where people would irretrievably have the wrong impression of me, Dunaway explained to People magazine. And that's an awful hard thing to beat, she said, perhaps referring to Crawford's diva reputation, which shadowed Dunaway even while making the film. She added, I should have known better.
Steve said, oh, just a minute, we need 2 lectures, 2 talks, 2 workshops. And I'm going to press right now, virtually. So in a nanosecond, I had to think, well, what am I going to do? And I thought, well, why don't I do Jupiter Neptune? Because that's, contrast to Saturn, Jupiter. There's a Jupiter-Neptune square this year. What's that going to do to the Saturn-Neptune conjunction? I can make this work. And so that's what I settled on. But then as I started to build up my Saturn-Neptune conjunction talk, I realized that a lot of the information I had and I wanted to discuss was kind of bigger than the Saturn-Neptune conjunction. I still tried to get it all in the space of the time that I had. And it was then becoming a sort of workshop talk in 2 halves. So I thought, you know what? And I did this the night before last. So I thought about it last night and put things together this morning. I thought I'm going to do a whole different thing, although I will weave into it the Jupiter-Neptune cycle. If I can, or it may even pop up here, who knows? It's an organic thing, even though I'm pretty structured. And the talk now, really, rather than being called the Jupiter-Neptune cycle, is going to be called Grand Alignments, Shifts in Consciousness. So there's a lot that would have come into this one. I thought, no, I'm going to stick to my brief here and everything there is to know about Saturn-Neptune conjunction I'm going to talk about. So let's begin.
Neptune. Neptune. Caroline Casey, I think I'm going to talk about this a little bit more tomorrow night. Caroline Casey, fellow astrologer, magic woman, says that imagination, think Neptune, lays the tracks for the reality train to follow. I like to say, and I might have said this last night, but that is Neptune creates the scaffolding or framework upon which we use Saturn to build three-dimensional reality. Saturn crystallizes the dreams of Neptune through discipline and hard work.
So many fantastic lectures and workshops. Unfortunately, that was the last one I was able to see. The last 2 days I was sick in my room and pretty miserable. So that's really all the content I'm able to fit here comfortably and ethically, just honoring the content that people paid for. This is a walking tour for the rest of the video. Watch all the way through. It is raw, it's uncut, it's just pieces of the experience on the road, and you will hear our guide, astrologer and author Alex Trenoweth giving us insights and some historical background to some of the astrological sites that we are visiting. And yeah, if you haven't already, give me a like and subscribe and leave a comment. They're coming.
So this is sort of supposed to be kind of the monument to like the rebuilding of London, the Renaissance of London. The Great Fire was predicted by William Lilly, whose plaque we're going to see later on. So we're going to walk through. Now we're kind of behind. We want to go to the front where Charles and Diana were married. Okay, and then we're going to have to come back.
Okay, so what I heard was that William Lilly predicted something around Sirius. Okay. Maybe the dog star, maybe. I'm going to have her clarify that. The fire that was the catalyst for the rebuilding or the Renaissance of... Yeah. Good job. See, we'll together, we'll paint a picture. Yes. It was in this area. Yeah.
But there's this really, really cool church. You go, it's down.
So,
of the moon.
Oh, how nice.
So is it by the shadow?
I think it's by the shadow.
No shadow. Why we're in May.
I'm going to get married.
Right.
And then
Well,
we
we're not gonna go up those stairs.
No, girl, and just around the corner.
Yeah.
Okay, but you can sit down if you want, and we can see the guy. Around the corner is it? We're gonna go down. It is about 10 minutes.
What is this?
Exactly.
What kind of building is this, Alex?
This one, obviously, it's.
Where the watch is, where the sundial.
I'm not sure what the name of this building is, but it's quite modern, isn't it?
Yeah, it's new. It's nothing ancient. Yeah.
What is that?
What is,
The spire with the golden something or other.
I think it's supposed to be a pineapple, but I can't remember what they meant to be.
A golden
But
pineapple.
It's like an unofficial monument to the Fire of London.
Ah, okay.
But it's not the monument. There
Okay.
is a monument. but this is
Unofficial.
like unofficial.
Okay. Symbolic.
We're gonna go to we're gonna go to
Image.
St. Paul's, and you guys that need to sit down, we're gonna sit down. So I know some people need to sit down. The beads and saying the our Father who art in heaven, paternoster.
Oh.
Noster. What is noster?
Ours. Padre nostro, our Father. This is why we can't go to the city. Okay, so the coolest souvenir shop is right behind you, indelibly St. Paul. Okay, all around us are coffee shops, places where you can get a cup of coffee. Okay, let's get a watch check.
Soho coffee.
Clock check. It's 10:30. How about if you meet here at 10 to 11, get a coffee, sit down, back here at the steps at 10 to 11.
Okay.
Please sit down. Where's the parents that are coming to coffee? And now it's just like office space, I think.
So what's the?
Sorry.
So speak on a little bit what the why they placed this
it's going
here.
the right way? Yeah. No, it's going backwards, isn't it?
But what's it doing on this building? I guess.
You know, it's just because this whole entire area is filled with astrological symbolism. They probably thought it was cool. We had the same thing when we hit the Kempton Fitzroy. It was just of the fashion.
Now, is that sun in June? Sun in Cancer? Or? See where that, or is that a moon, you think? Or?
I think the dial up there looks like it's May.
Okay, dial is May.
He's with St. Churchill's face. He was a friend of Mr. Bracken in the sun.
In the sun.
Mr. Churchill.
So,
I see the likeness.
To cross over again. We need to go. So what I suggest is we go in groups of 4 or 5. Mary goes first. Mary's having problems with these. Mary's going to go first. Mary, you go first. You go first.
Where is it?
Just here. It's very easy.
The funny thing is, I've been carrying all that, and then the program was the last straw apparently for the bag.
In the pocket for your phone?
Oh yeah. I just think it's funny that it was fine until all of a sudden. Look at the glass one right here. Embrace that the way it is. And there is one right in yeah, that's what we felt yesterday. There's something ancient moving.
It's a map. You see this sketch? You see? And then I don't know. It's a it's like a timeline etched in the walls. Did you notice?
Is it the layers?
Maybe that's what that is. Oh, yeah.
They carried the story as they crisscrossed continents and marched across the world. Ancient Romans believed in a lot of gods, worshipping gods and goddesses for every aspect of life. Mithras was known as a god of bravery and strength, a warrior god who won the battle between good and evil, To explain archetypals, the Romans told this myth. Was the beginning Island in a soft breeze, berries burst from trees. From the spilled crimson blood of the beast, all animals were created. And suddenly, the once empty earth was a joyous riot of colour and noise. Galloping hooves, fluttering wings, clicking and buzzing, roaring and growling. And in this very moment, the Romans said the long winter ended, and the first spring began.
No, I don't know what that is. But aren't these cool? So, I mean, you'll see like little tributes to Mercury. Like there's like a winged person there.
Oh yeah.
And if you come over this side. And you've got this freeze up here.
The wings.
I think that might be Zeus. Looks like on the far left, the scepter. This Cupid. On the 13th century. This is the old stock market building.
Sorry.
What are you talking about? I was saying it's an old stock market museum. Oh, sorry, stock market building. Yeah. Oh, look, over here too. That's cool. Lady Justice over right on the chair.
He does or he doesn't, mate. Just the back of his finger. No, what?
Yeah, it says Royal Exchange.
Yeah, yeah.
Once both sides of
How long this is?
Ticket office. Yay.
So how about if we meet at 1:30 here, 1:30 here? Give everybody a chance to go in. I need to sit down.
Yeah.
I need to put in
One more time.
All right.
If you like, if you like.
William Lilly was perhaps the most well-known British astrologer from the 17th century. He famously, allegedly, predicted the fire of London. So he was born in 1602. Last night was his birthday, which we all celebrated several times. But you know, it's important, I think, that we honor William Lilly. Because he's one of ours. And look at the state of this place. And you can't smell it, but it stinks.
Yeah,
all right?
it does.
It's been ignored and neglected. And this kind of is the highlight of our tour. I mean, I know the Mithraeum Museum was pretty cool, but this is like the highlight when we celebrate one of our own. And it's been passed for several centuries. So if you bought a stone, I would suggest very quickly coming up here and putting it down. They will not stay here. Someone will come along and pick it up, and that's okay. All right? We're doing our bit to honor William Lilly. Okay.
And we're at the King's College London corner. Yeah.
All right, are we ready?
Okay, now move along.
Not that, maybe they haven't done.
What happened 10 seconds ago?
I'm doing my book launch here in August.
Oh, yeah.
And they just buzzed me 10 seconds ago to tell me your event has been curated.
Sweet! Congratulations.
So wrapping up the Shifts Happen symposium, I found myself outside of London just a little bit. I had taken through this trip buses, trains, lifts, the underground, just every sort of transport you can do in London. By far, the Uber Clippers were my favorite. I loved busing to and from where I was staying, in and out of the city using, the River Thames. And it was so enjoyable with the fresh air and seeing all the sights from a different perspective than, driving to a place and viewing it from the ground. And so you'll see some of these sites are familiar from the walking tour. And if you're still here, if you're still watching, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for taking the time to view this video. I hope it's interesting. I hope you enjoyed some of the content of the experience. And if you do, please give me a like, comment. Tell me where you visited and what your favorite places were. And any other astrological sites that maybe you would identify or have been to in London, that would be really cool to hear about too. So leave me a comment about that. My new friend and YouTuber, Dawn, also joined me and invited me actually to see Hamilton at the Victoria Palace. And this was the final evening of my trip before flying home the next day. And I have to say, it was definitely one of my favorite moments. Just after all of the stimulus of hordes of people and cars and buses and bikes and just so much noise, and especially after this beautiful Hamilton play, which was also very exciting and stimulating. Loved it. Highly recommend it. This walk back to the Clipper boats was so serene. I had my classical music in, my cozy coat, and I was not in any rush, and just taking in the same sights from a different view, with color and quiet, really. It was pretty peaceful. I didn't make it to the Clippers before they actually stopped running, and I didn't realize that, so I did actually have to catch a cab back to my hotel. But yeah, gorgeous evening, lovely experience, felt safe, didn't feel in danger in any way. Highly recommend seeing the sights at different times. And once again, thank you for watching Ms. B Ecstatic, and hope you enjoyed some of the astrological elements and vibes here in my astro musings. Peace until next time.